If you've really been struggling with, if you've been very frustrated with using what I'll call self-help, personal development, manifestation, transformational tools and techniques, join me here for a brief but very frank chat about what that's all about and some alternatives for you to consider. My name's Robert Scheinfeld, and what I want to share with you here is let's take a look at the drill that I'm sure you're very familiar with. You start out with a long list of things in your life that you want to change, fix, or improve. And it might be about money or business and career or relationships or a health and wellness issue, whatever it is. You got your list. And there are things that you don't have that you want to bring into your life. There are things that you have, but you don't have enough of and you want more of. And then there are things that are present in your life that you don't like that you want to get rid of. And that's what this list is all about. So you go searching. You go searching for techniques, for tools, for strategies that you can use to get all these things that are on your list. And then here's what happens. You discover these techniques and they are very exciting and you get very excited because wow, now I got the power to really change my life. And so you start going down your list. And what inevitably happens is the tools and the techniques, whether it's goal setting, visualization, affirmations, manifestation techniques of all kinds, law of attraction, modeling, whatever it is, they don't work reliably. And you notice that. The person that taught you whatever it is that you're using has all kinds of success stories from using it. There are all kinds of other people, testimonials they're generally called, of people who use the technique and were able to get these things that they want. And this is part of why you get so excited, because wow, this works. But then it doesn't for you. It either doesn't work at all, if your experience is like mine, or it doesn't work reliably. The technique works sometimes, but not all times. And if you look around, it works for some people, but not other people. And again, unreliably for everyone. And when I started to experience this, when I first entered the self-help world, and I had my own big list, and I started working my way down it, and I started using the techniques, flavor of the day, flavor of the month, flavor of the year, there's always a new technique that appears to be the new magic bullet. I noticed this. And it really bugged me, because number one, I wanted what was on my list. And I did follow the instructions, I did use the techniques and I did them correctly, so to speak. But I wasn't getting what I wanted and I didn't understand that. It bothered me. Why is it working for the teacher? Why does it appear to be working for all these other people, but it doesn't work for me? Or how come I use the technique to try to produce this thing on my list and I got it, but then I used the technique to try to produce this, this, and this, and I didn't get it? What's going on here? And it really bothered me, and I went on a search that actually went over decades to try and figure out what was really going on. And I want to share a couple things with you here now. First of all of the techniques, whatever their names, whatever the specific steps that you follow, in essence, they have the same core. And the core is this. You got a lot of power here in your mind. You got a lot of power here in your thoughts. And all you need to do is get really, really clear on what it is that you want to produce. And then focus that power, the power of your thoughts, the power of your mind, the power of your vibration to attract whatever it is on that particular thing. And you'll get what you want, and the language is generally, it's guaranteed, it's a universal law, whatever it is. Except it doesn't work that way. Again, I'm sure you've noticed this, and I certainly did. And so if you really look at all of this, let me give you a couple quick examples. If that was really true, then every time you used the technique, you got clear, and you tried to pump a want, if you will, one of these things from your list through the technique, it would work. But what happens is, again, it doesn't work reliably. It works sometimes, but not other times. There are other times where if this really was so powerful, if your thoughts in your mind really were creating everything that was happening to you in your life, there are times in your life, I'm sure, where no matter how badly you wanted to stop it or make the bad thoughts, so to speak, go away, your dominant thoughts were focused on fear that something really bad was going to happen in a particular situation. And that was what was going on in your mind, except the bad thing didn't happen. So when you focus your mind on something, it doesn't reliably produce the result. When you're wanting to produce something, we've got that when your mind is totally focused on something bad happening, the bad doesn't always happen. So the good doesn't always happen, the bad doesn't always happen. And here's the real kicker. There are times where your thoughts weren't focused on something at all. Something that you would call really good, really great, really awesome, whatever, just popped into your life. And you loved it, but your thoughts weren't focused on it, never crossed your mind to produce that particular thing, to create that particular thing, to manifest that particular thing. It just happened. So how do you explain that? If it's really coming from the power of your mind, as what I'll call the personality or the player of the human game, then these things shouldn't be happening. There shouldn't be something that manifests that wasn't ever on your mind. And every time you really focus on something, it ought to manifest, whether it's unintentional when you're afraid of something, or it's intentional when you're trying to produce something. So if you really look at this, and I could talk to you for hours about what I just said, the only conclusion that you can really come up with is the power isn't really here. It isn't really in your thoughts. It isn't really in your mind. It's really somewhere else. There's something else that's going on behind the scenes that is either creating what's happening in your day-to-day life, or that's acting as a filter that allows certain of the things that you focus on to manifest and certain things not to manifest. But either way, there's some very powerful force from behind the scenes that is operating, that's determining what's happening to you. And by the way, the force that I just mentioned, I'm not talking about the subconscious mind or the unconscious mind. I'm not talking about you having some limiting or self-sabotaging beliefs. And what I discovered, and the decision I made, is I got to find out what that is. I call it the true creative process, with all capital letters. Because if you really want to change your life, if you want to create true transformation, which means to me a change in your life that lasts, it doesn't come and go, you don't get it and lose it, it stays. And it's something that really floats your boat. Because the other interesting thing about all of this is we look at our lists. There's all kinds of things on our list that we think we really want, we think would really be great, would really make our life better, and they wouldn't. Our vision is blurred. And then there are other things on our list that we think would really be great, and it would be great. We'd really enjoy it. So if you're going to get what you really want and create true transformation, which means it lasts and it's something that really would be great for you, you got to understand what this true creative process is. You've got to understand what's really going on from behind the scenes, and you've got to learn how to, for lack of a better term, work with that true creative process, that force, instead of just trying to push it from here, because clearly here isn't the power. It doesn't work reliably. And I discovered the details of this true creative process after decades of searching, and how to work with it, and how to clarify your vision so that you are naturally, automatically, so to speak, pumping through the true creative process, only the things that you really want, as I call it, versus the things that you think you want, which are the things that you think would be great, but if you actually got them, and you've probably experienced this too. There's something you really, 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 really wanted, and you worked hard, you got it, and then it was like, wow, that isn't as great as I thought it was going to be, or you had a moment of real excitement and exhilaration, and then boom, it was on to something else, and it didn't really change your life or make that much difference the way you thought it would. So I discovered a path and a specific set of tools and a whole model, if you will, to clarify this true creative process, what's really going on behind the scenes, what's really determining what's happening to you every day. And if you would like to know more about that, I've created another video for you. And if you look beneath the screen, you'll see a link that you can click on. And if you click on that and give me your name and your email address, you will instantly be redirected to another video. It's free of charge. There's no money involved here. It's free of charge, and it'll go into much more detail on everything that I just talked about. Why self-help techniques work when they work, why they don't work when they don't work, what this true creative process is, how to clarify your vision to really get clear on what you really want instead of just what you think you want. It's all in this video. So on that note, I'll say bye-bye for now.